our emotions, psychosocial, and well-being. When all those things are interfered negatively, that is when it turns out to be a disorder. That means it's not in order. And that is when we call it illness. It becomes an illness that is also medical. It becomes a medical illness, just like diabetes. When your blood level changes, that's when you say, oh, I think this person has diabetes. And when other things happen, that is when we say somebody has cancer. So mental illness is like any of those things I just mentioned that you can think of. And so it's curable, just like all those things, other illnesses. So don't let the people deceive you to say, oh, when you have mental health, the mental illness is forever. No. If you work on it and identify that, which is called early intervention. And I know in the American and African community, unlike Americans, we do not know what we call preventative. We are curative culture. Our culture is, I'm having toothache, I can't bite this bone. So I don't go and see my who? Dentist. But dentist is just every 6 months for check-up, for all those things. But don't do that. We go there, when you have this pain here and you saw the dentist and it's over, that's the end of it. And so the same thing with mental health and mental illness happen. When your mental health is being disturbed and you are not acting to correct it, it becomes disorder for a longer period. And so whatever happens in African health is whatever doesn't stop you from doing your day-to-day activity, you don't see it as illness. And so we want to make sure that our mental health doesn't turn out to be mental illness. And there are approaches to that. And so, like I said, I will go with this one. Mental health versus mental illness. I just described that. It is associated with depression. The mental illness doesn't come in isolation. It comes because something is also happening within you. And that is why you cannot rule out something that may happen. We need to pay attention to it. It is important that we look at those things and see how they are associated. Many of us are in healthcare profession, that we have so many hours of overtime, night duty, morning duty. It's good to be busy, but it's good to be working wisely and not compromise our mental health. Do not disrupt. Any disruption of our mental health is what we cannot deal with. And that is why it is important to talk about that. People will say, why are we talking about mental illness? Because without mental health, there is no health. So we need to look at that. If you cannot take anything away today, take that one away as you take away. And like I said, I'm going to be asking some questions, and we guys to be ready to answer them. One of the questions I have here is, mental illness is caused by evil spirit or supernatural power. True or false?
False.
Why is it false? Yes, by mental health that is disordered. And so that has nothing to do with evil eye or somebody doesn't like you. Another question I have is, mental disorder are untreatable. Good. So now you are dealing with your own mental health because you know what is right and wrong. Lack of willpower causes mental illness.
Yes.
Willpower?
I think willpower, yeah, you have to be strong. And that's my view. You can correct me. But I feel like you have to have the will to, like if you went through a depression, have the will to be able to stand, look for help.
Okay, well, that's your view. In our study, it's not true. Because that is one of the things we have within our own culture. When someone is dealing with mental illness, they say, oh, that person is not strong enough. He doesn't have willpower to get over it. Does the person with cancer doesn't have willpower to get over it? No. When somebody has a cancer, that's not to do with willpower. It happens. It's medical. So I'm glad you said what you said, because it gives us now opportunity to say the reason why that is not true. That it has nothing to do with willpower. When somebody is depressed, depression has nothing to do with willpower. It's an illness that affects the brain. And so willpower cannot do that. Good. Marriage can cure mental illness. If I get married, I'm a single person. If I get married, I will feel better. Yes or no? True? Is that true? Good. Mental problems are only seen in literate poor people. People with mental illness disorder can never be productive members of the community. Once a psychiatric patient will always be a psychiatric patient. Now, why are those things like that? I brought this up because this is how we feel sometimes. And this is how we do not take care of those things, because we believe all those things I just mentioned. Those are myths. Those are not true. Mental illness has no discrimination whether you are poor, whether you are PhD, whether you are this. And it has nothing to do with power. It just has to do with understanding what that is and be able to deal with it like any physical health. And that is why we are saying no health without mental health. All those things are associated and they work hand in hand. It is our job to identify those things and be able to do what we call early intervention, because it's out before it's out of hand. Good. You guys are good learners. I think that tells me how much you know about this. Now, there are some key facts. A lot of things that we do when it comes to mental health and mental illness, there are factors that causes them. Disorder do not discriminate, can affect anyone, regardless of your situation. And as such, mental health disorders are very common. So the more reason why we are talking about this is because this thing is very common. 1 out of 5 individuals, 1 out of 1.5% will experience mental illness. Not necessarily you, it could be a family member, it could be a friend that you know. So 1 out of 5 people, that's very high. So to me, it makes it worth talking about it. If it's so prevalent, it's very important. I do remember, sometimes because we don't talk about this, people lose their life. Few years ago, within the community that maybe some of you know, I did something in the church, and there's one guy that was really asking me a question, but never come out to say, my daughter is having depression. After I did this presentation that time, 2 months later, I had a 24-year-old lady die of depression. If we have talked about that during our training, I was curious. I should have probed to say, do you have somebody in the family that is experiencing this right now? Could have looked for resources and help. And it was regarding like this. And it's our own community Africans. So we need to not hide our illness. Because what you highlight out become public, when the person die, we will know what caused the person to die. So this public or community hideout is better to say than later. It affects quality of life. Mental illness affects quality of life. Say for example, somebody has mental illness, depression, they cannot even get up to go to Walgreens to get their prescribed medication. It's affecting their life. They cannot go to work, they cannot hold a job, they cannot do social gathering. Things that used to be really fun turn out to be a chore. To me, that makes us to be important and be vigilant about mental illness. So when you miss those things, we cannot take those things for granted. And so, please, it's very, very important. If you are doing this every quarter, I would recommend it because the information is crucial to be. And if you go out yourself, you can be an ambassador to talk about mental health and mental illness. Because a lot of people mix them up. They think, oh, if I can come to church and do all those things, that's all. What are the factors that affect mental health? Again, remember now, what factors affect your mental health, which is the positive part of your health, is what turns it to be mental illness. So what are the factors? There are very many factorial things that causes that. Developmental stage. Sometimes some kids went through some environments, some developmental stages, what they went through, maybe through abuse, maybe through, you don't have to be beating kids before they get abused. Maybe the word you use for the kid, oh, you are just a loser, oh, can you just do something right? I know African parents, I know why we talk to each other. I know this is not something that is unique to a lot of you here, but something I have to take myself out of that. I remember when my kids were growing up, I would tell them when I'm taking them to school, I am not an helicopter mom. If you forgot something, forget it. I will not come back from work to come and pick it up and take it back to school. So sometimes the way we treat those kids, they become so fearful. We may not know that it's abuse, but the way we talk to the kids can be abusive. So those things make them be conscious of self-esteem. They lose some self-esteem, which is part of mental illness. That is when you see some kid having ADHD, they're so restless and things like that. I know that topic is for another day. Factors affecting mental health: our social, our race, our socio-economic status. Your zip code matters. Where you live matters. How it affects your mental well-being. Biological factors affecting the good aspect of mental health. Your biological traits. Sometimes we have those things as part of biological hereditary that we inherit. Environmental, the place where we live. Again, I mentioned something about your zip code, your housing. Maybe that housing has lead, toxic, all those things affect people's mental health that turn out to mental illness. So your environment matters. It is important to take care of those things. Those things we take for granted can affect our mental health that will turn into mental illness. Causes. What are the causes of this disorder? Again, I mentioned something like biological, adverse childhood experiences. Experiences that children have that become adverse to their health. We call it ACE, adverse child effects. Physical. Sometimes some people, see, that is one of the reasons why we say willpower doesn't work. A person has an accident and hit his head or her head and has what we call TBI, which is traumatic brain injuries that led to mental illness. Now you can see that has nothing to do with will of power, when I said it last time. So some of those things are things that we cannot help when they happen. And that is what we call causes of mental health disorders. There are many of them. I don't take this as a thing because this is not a full class. So it is important that by the time I'm done with this short presentation, we'll be able to look at how maybe you have friends, you have family members, and talk about this. Mental health within the African cultural lens. Immigrants and refugees from Africa suffer from universal mental health disorder. What difference is the way we describe it? You know, universally, Africa and white, we have what we call universal mental illness. But the way we describe it is different from America, possibly sometimes. Sometimes a person may wake up and say, oh, I just feel like there's something wrong over me. Like a car run over me. Sometimes when they keep feeling that way, it could be a depression. You don't even feel like doing anything. You get up, nothing appears. If that goes on for a longer time, you get to look for some help. So it's not that we don't have it, it's just the way we describe it symptomatically through physical description. And that is why sometimes it's difficult if you don't have culturally responsive mental health professional, we may not get the right diagnosis. And that is one of the things that the state and counties are working on, that we need to have more of us in the field. However, having more of us in the field can also be negative, just because of what I said before, the community syndrome. I'm seeing Dr. Oni for depression. Who is Dr. Oni going to tell that so Grace has depression? No, we are licensed, and we have to protect our license through HIPAA that says what you do with your client is a privileged information between you and my client. People need to know that people don't just go out and gossip about those things that we see in our clinic. Sometimes we run away from our own professional people and get it worse when we go there, because those people cannot approach you better. I had a case about a year ago in Ramsey County. This person was called order to see a therapy, and they've been seeing the therapist for over a year because of domestic violence in the house, family domestic violence. So this guy was arrested for that and ordered to see a therapy for anger management. Well, he was seeing a white lady, a man from Africa, seeing a white lady. You can see how that conversation will go. Well, after 1 year, no progress. They refer him to someone that they know me, and the guy came to the office after 2 weeks appointment that I gave him. As soon as he walked in, he said, well, Dr. Oni, I said, oh, brother, what brought you here? I said, oh, I come here to borrow money. And I said, this office doesn't say bank. And so, and he said, well, I want you to know too that I'm not crazy. I said, what happened? He said, I Google you. He said, Google me and know what I do. I said, okay, no problem. So we sat down and we started talking, and I just make sure everything is saying and we go forward. So finally, I said, tell me when you are here. He posted the crying now, 45 years now. And I said, what's going on? He said, well, there's a fire at home, and the ladies and the kids and so on. So after that, I said, so exactly what you want. the country for 5 years. I was a chief director of finance in my country. And I've been here for 5 years. My wife does work in the hotel and clean the hotel, and I do. It's like I'm not a man anymore. So it's putting this frustration on the family. An accountant person who has no job for 5 years, you can see how frustrated I might be for him. Well, we all came here, even though some of us came just to go to school. We know you have to navigate a lot of things. So I listened to his story, and I really believe him. It was in the summer. I really believe him, and I said, is that all? Because if there's more, I will know more things. And he said, that's it. That's why I'm just so frustrated. And even though my wife is doing her best, he still sees himself as a breadwinner. So, and it didn't happen. So at the end of the day, I said, okay, we will talk about it, and I'll give you another appointment for 2 weeks. During that was in the summer, and I have a friend that works at a bank called Associated Bank in Western Point, Dakota County. So this friend of mine called me. We went to their staff picnic in the summer. And I said, do you guys have any opening for cashier? And he said, yeah, we have 5 openings. And we are interviewing right now. And I said, wow. So during my meeting with the guy, I cut it short. Instead of 2 weeks, I called him right away to come and meet me. I told him this. I said, would you like a cashier? He said, anything we will do. I said, okay. So I called him, my friend, we gave us 2 days for interview. And I told him, he said, no, I don't have to wait. I said, okay. We went to one coat factory, got him shirt and everything. He got the job. After that job, this man never talked about going to Africa again, like you take borrow more money. Instead of that, I was talking about visiting a friend in Atlanta. I went to court. I gave a report that this anger management is 0. If they don't need anger management, they just need to give job. You know that job. And I want to post. Why I say this? Sometimes we shy away from our own people that know us because of that issue of worship. But we are losing things by doing that. Some people prefer to see people that don't know them that they can lie to. They cannot lie to because I don't know that time there was a war in this country. And the king says he wanted to borrow money. Because he thought maybe I will react to that and that will end our relationship. Because I was saying, that's wrong. I cannot help you. But I think I'm pro for that. I know more than that. So what I'm saying here is, please, if you see a professional that is from your culture, forget about worship. If that will help you, go get it. That is very important. Practice consideration. What should we be practicing? Like I said, in Africa, we do not have a universal meaning for definition of mental health. What defines our mental health and craziness is our culture. The culture defines who is sick and who is not. The culture also defines when you are sick, who to see and who not to see. So our illness is defined by our culture. And that is why culture defines everything we do. Culture tells us what we wear. Even in winter, you still wear your African outfit and you put something on top of it. That's culture. And a lot of time, the same thing with who is crazy and who is not. We don't have to do DSM-5 to tell and to describe our illness. It's our culture. Back home when we were kids, we see people with mental illness as entertainers. We throw stone, we throw more than them when we were young. We didn't know that. And I think when people saw that back there, they equate that to that when they come here. That's why they don't want to be associated with anything that have to do with mental. So that is what I call self-stigma. We self-stigmatize ourselves as opposed to just thinking other people are stigmatizing us. Mental illness is defined by the culture, and culture defines what constitutes madness and craziness. It is the culture that defines those things. Spiritual causes are frequently explained as what causes mental illness. Spiritual causes are frequently explanation for mental illness among African communities. People say, oh, you are not praying well enough, you are not praying frequently enough, that is why you are delusional. That is why you are psychotic. No, that is not what that is. Even in the Bible, there are verses that refer to mental illness. I'm sure many of you have read that. If you are not, I can give you some verses later on. So, we look at mental illness as spiritual. We are not doing well enough in our ministry, in our religious belief system. So a lot of those are just belief system. And like I said, I will not go too many because of the time. I will have something that we call takeaways. What are the things you need to take away from this brief presentation? And from what I heard, this is going to be an ongoing. Hopefully, there will be more time for me or whoever comes to do more justice to this because, like I said, it is important. It affects 1 out of 5 people and it affects 1 out of 4 youth, which is a different category that we need to talk about. When we talk about kids, I usually describe some of the kids that were born here, and I'm sorry if any kid is here that is less than 18, don't quote me and don't fight me. I describe those kids as ABC, American born confused. Because we put so much on them, and they are confused. They go to school, what they learn is different, and they come up what is different. And early childhood, you cannot talk when you are eating, but when you have socialized and talk when they are eating. And when they come home, their parents say, don't talk when you are eating. That is why I say, American born confused. It is important that we don't confuse them more. I really sure that they know the truth. Again, takeaways. 1, there is no head without mental health. 2, mental illness can be complex, debilitating, but there is always hope and recovery. There is always recovery. There are plenty of early warnings. Did the presentation or the book 2 Sundays ago in the church, and the topic was syndrome after holidays, which we call the blues after the holiday. Many of you enjoy the Christmas, enjoy holiday time, but there is something after that people could not even hold joy for a while. We will talk about that as part of our mental health day. Always see mental illness as any other illnesses. Diabetes and cancer. These are takeaways. Talk to your pastor and close friend for support and resources. Do not always stigmatize yourself. Do not stigmatize your own illness. Instead of that, take it and treat it well. Look at it as something that is out of your control. And as such, you'll be able to deal with that. I'm going to pause for a while for any discussion. I know others have been sitting down here for a while and ready to leave and enjoy the social discussion. My number is 612. There's nothing here to project it, but anything like that. So feel free to reach out. I appreciate the opportunity to meet my community. Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving us this wonderful. Anytime you need, any help, please get really to you. Thank you very much for your kind words and information about mental health. We will be inviting you again. Like we said, we will have a session every 2 weeks after we have a session on mental health. I hope anytime we need you will be there for us. Thank you so much. Thank you members for being part of this session. We hope to see you again. May God bless you. Bye. We have a lot of food.